guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for today's video because it is the 1-year hair growth update since I chopped my hair off last year. In this video, I'm just going to be going through like my progress, talk to you guys a little bit about what the journey has been like so far. And for those of you who are new here and maybe don't know what I'm talking about, this time last year I cut my hair from hip length up to about here, like just below my collarbones, and this is how much it's grown since then. My hair is wavy because I slept with it in 2 braids last night, but I'm going to show you guys, like I said, videos and pictures of what it's currently looking like and what the current length is. So last year when I cut my hair, I basically asked for a U-shaped hemline, long layers, and then of course my curtain bangs, and I think I asked for them to be blended into the front of my hair as well. My hairdresser Nada did an amazing job as always. She'd actually been cutting my hair since I was like 4 years old, so I felt really comfortable going to her for this huge change in this big haircut. For those of you who have been on my channel for a long time, you guys know that I was really strict about my long hair and like how much I would get cut off each month when I would go get a trim, or however often I was getting trims. So for me to go from that to just like cutting it all off was really big for me. It happened for me at the most perfect time because literally 2 weeks after I cut it, we got in the car and started our drive across Canada to move. So I just had a lot of other really big things happening and like bigger things to worry about, that like the haircut itself didn't really feel like that big of a deal for me, or like a big change. So after having a year to like marinate in the decision that I made, a lot of you guys ask how I feel about it now, and I'm still extremely happy that I cut my hair. Honestly, it was one of the best things I've ever done for myself. I think at the time my hair had just become such a huge part of my identity and like who I was. It became like a major part of my look. And I think I just really weaved my own personality and identity with having long hair. And I think that's something that happens to a lot of people in the long hair community, especially on Instagram. It gets really easy to like make your whole thing your hair, especially when that's like the main point of your account, like mine is. So for a really long time, I think I like was scared to cut it just because I didn't know like what I would do with myself after, which sounds like really silly now, but like at the time, and for those of you who currently have long hair, I'm sure some of you can relate, like it is a really big change to make. So I'm really happy that I did it because it allowed me to kind of detach from my physical like appearance a little bit. It allowed me to detach from like this one big part of my life and one big thing that I love about myself. And then that allowed me to explore other things about myself that I love and like learn new things about myself. This year I was really able to spend more time focusing on like evolving my personal style. I feel like the way I dress has changed a lot since I moved, and like that could totally just be because of where I live now. Like people are a little bit more like artsy fartsy and like dress a little bit more funky than where I lived before. I also think it really just eliminated any like hair anxiety that I used to have. So especially in terms of like going to the hairdresser now, I'm not as concerned about having more than what I wanted cut off. Obviously, like nobody wants to get something different than what they ask for when they go to the salon, but in terms of it being like an exact inch or maybe a little more, maybe a little less, like I honestly don't really care anymore. I'm more open to trying new hairstyles and like experimenting with layers and like shapes with my hair than I was before. And just generally speaking, I think like my entire routine is just more lax. That could totally just be because shorter hair is less maintenance for me than my long hair was, but also I think I've just realized that like it's gonna do its thing and I don't have to worry so much about my ends as I did when it was super long. So I think what I love the most about this whole process is just that it's allowed me to really experiment and like get to know myself a little bit better, and I just think it's really helped me to like come into myself a little bit more and get like more comfortable with myself. So a couple of really frequently asked questions I get is, will I grow my hair back to the same length it was before, and do I think I'll ever cut my hair short again? I definitely will cut my hair again eventually. Right now I'm really digging the long hair look again, but I think eventually I will cut it and kind of start the journey over. Like it's a lot of fun, and like I mentioned before, I'm less scared of it now because I know that I like the way I look with shorter hair. I know how to deal with my hair when it's short, and I know obviously how long to expect it's going to take me to grow it back. So I think like all of those unknowns that I had last year, just now I know, so I'm less worried about it. So I definitely think I'll cut my hair again one day. And if I'm gonna grow back to the same length, yes but no. Like I do want to grow it back out to around hip length, but I'm going to do it differently. I really want to have a lot of layers in my hair. I want to have tons more movement and body than I did before. Like I want to maintain the volume. Like right now my hair looks really flat because I'm due for a haircut, which I'm getting next week, so I'm very excited. But I do want to maintain like volume and shape around my face while my hair is long, because when my hair was long before, although I did have long layers, I didn't really do much else with it. So I think it like contributed to me getting bored with my hair quickly. So this time around I just want to have more fun with it, be more free with it, experiment with more different hairstyles. And yeah, so I'm aiming for about hip length, but we'll see what happens when I get there. Like maybe I'll want to go a little bit longer, or maybe I'll just be really happy with it at belly button. Like I'm not too sure. So my hair right now is sitting pretty much exactly where I was anticipating it was going to a year after my cut. So when I cut my hair, I like measured from the bottom of my hair like down 6 inches, and it's about here. So I know my hair grew more or less 6 inches since my haircut. And if I'm assuming it's going to do the same this year, I should be close to belly button length by this time next year, which is really exciting. It'll be like right at the top of my belly button. Obviously that's going to be different depending on like your height and like your torso dimensions. Like I kind of have a long torso, so I feel like that might not take as long for somebody else who's just cut their hair. So don't compare your hair growth rate to anybody else's. Like it's very personal. But overall I'm really happy with my progress. I'll insert a photo here of the picture I took right before the summer growth challenge in May last year, and then the photo that I took just at the end of the winter growth challenge this year. So just about 2 weeks ago I took it, and you can see the almost 1 year difference. So really there's just like 1 month off from those two photos. But I'm really happy with my growth. Like I said, this is pretty much exactly where I thought I would be. Throughout this year of growing my hair, I've really had the chance to put all of the tips I've been sharing with you guys to good use. I did grow my hair obviously the first time to get it down to my hips or to classic length where it was like at its longest. But when I first grew out my hair, it was extremely damaged. So the way I had to go about growing out my hair was really different than this time. This time my hair was in a really healthy state, so I didn't have to do all of like the damage repair things that I had to do the first time. I really just got to focus on letting it do its thing and like maintaining my hair. So the number one tip I have for hair growth, if your hair is also in a healthy state, is to focus on scalp care and scalp massages and scalp treatments. That is like the one thing I think accelerated my hair growth the way it did. Obviously there's nothing that can make your hair grow faster than what is genetically possible for you. So again, if you're like me and your hair grows about 6 inches per month on average, there's not really much you can do to push your hair beyond that. But what scalp treatments can do is really make sure that you're maximizing what is genetically possible for you and keeping your scalp healthy. It also helps to reduce stress when you're massaging your scalp. It's really relaxing, and I just think that it made the biggest difference for me. That, and also keeping my hair care routine consistent, really helps. So doing my regular scalp treatments, and then also making sure that I was doing masks regularly, following my capillary schedule. Again, whether you like to do a capillary schedule or not is totally up to you. That's just what works for me. So being consistent with my routine helped me to actually retain all the length that I was growing, which is really half the battle. Like, you can grow as much hair as you want, but if you're losing a lot of that length due to breakage at the ends, then like what is the point? And I also haven't had a trim on my ends since my haircut last year. So I was able to retain like all of my growth. But those are my two like key tips, like regular scalp treatments and keeping your hair care routine consistent. There are also a ton of other tips that I found really didn't make a huge difference for me, and I think I'd like to make a whole video on that for you guys just because I think it would be fun. I mainly think that they didn't make a difference for me because, like I said, I wasn't having to do any damage control for my hair. So a lot of the tips that I like to share with you guys for hair growth really fall into like the damage repair section, where it's like if your hair is damaged, you're trying to grow out like layers that you didn't like, or you're trying to grow out like old hair dye or old damage, a lot of the tips I share are beneficial for that. Whereas if your hair's already healthy, like you can still do them to keep your hair super healthy, but it's not going to make a huge difference in like your actual rate of growth. If you guys want to see that video, let me know in the comments down below, because otherwise this one will just be like half an hour long. That's it for the hair growth update. I feel like there's not so much to share just because I do like mainly post about my hair on here anyways, so you guys have really been a part of the whole journey, which is something that I really love. And I'm really happy that those of you who have been following me since I started my channel and had long hair, you got to see me go like pretty much all the way to classic length and then chop it and start over. So I don't know, I really love that you guys got to be there with me for that. And for those of you who like stuck with me through the haircut and like through this year, thank you so much for all of your continued support. Like, you guys don't even know how much it means to me. I know that like I'm just on your screen right now, but You guys are great. I read your comments. Like, the support that you guys have given me has been like astronomical. There have been a lot of really hilarious mean comments about it, which I'm sure you guys have read some of them. They're pretty funny, to be honest, but the overwhelming majority has been so positive, and I really can't thank you guys enough, because part of why I was so scared to cut my hair, I think, was just I wasn't sure like what this reaction would be like, which is kind of silly, but you guys are a huge part of my life, so obviously I cared about what you would think. So thank you for being the most fun audience on the internet. You guys are obviously the best. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really excited to see what this next year brings us. Let me know in the comments like if there's anything specific you want to see. I do have a skincare routine coming up, and I would love to make a what hair tips didn't really work for me video, so let me know your thoughts. But I will see you in the next video. Bye.